cookies.
Did you get the trick chair?
No, I feel like it's not.
Did you bring any?
It's not
No,
crazy.
talking about the
I was hoping
the
that
debate for
it's, I'm
city
sorry. Is that
council.
yours?
No, ma'am, that's yours.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna bring cookies.
Okay.
Yay.
Ann Hager, Shade Tree.
She's a sketchy character. That lady that wants to be on the shade tree.
Shady.
She is
So you
shady.
decided to settle your negotiations.
I'm gonna take one of these. This is an improvement.
I just found that out today.
We had to go to serve
I can't.
or COTC.
I'm about this close to it. So. I don't think it's been right all year, but no, I haven't looked at it.
It went from $7.
Carol.
We're going to begin the Land Use and Development Committee meeting on the economic impact of the Fraser Solar Project.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Fraser Solar Project is something that has been in process for a very long time in Knox County as a whole. City Council put forward a resolution last year due to the economic impact and the shift in economic impact that a solar project on certain municipal land would bring to the city. That land was 100 acres in city limits that was zoned residential. I'm sorry, do you want to tell me what exactly the zoning was?
It was planned community development.
It was planned community development. So that is a shift still in what the city could expect to see in revenue, changing the use of that land. This is a unique situation in that we do not see anywhere else in Ohio municipal property being utilized for industrial solar. There are some areas where solar is being used to power certain facilities within municipalities, but nothing quite to this scale. So we are a very unique situation. Ohio Municipal League is not aware of any other situation like this either. And I'm going to have our treasurer come forward and just talk a little bit about what this economic impact is that we can expect to see and the changes and some things that we might be working on to look at making our opinions clear.
Yeah, so just, good evening. Just put aside solar, if however you think it's good or bad, farmland should be used or not used, all the political stuff with solar, that's not what this is about. It's a very specific argument in that this land that's within the city, like Ms. Keener said, is unique to the state of Ohio. It's the only incorporated land that is being used for industrial solar. So I put together a little presentation, kind of a timeline. So in October 21, Senate Bill 52 was passed. That defined the solar and wind projects, and it gave county auditors, county commissioners that they had to approve before something could be done in the county. They had to approve it. So that was one, defined; two, for the commissioners to pass resolutions to say it's okay. They did two more things I didn't have on here. They gave the siting board power to, when they decide whether a project is good or bad, they seek public opinion, and then they evaluate the economic value of the project. So that the economic value is the important part. But so the Senate Bill 52 said unincorporated land in Ohio, and then the commissioners passed a resolution in August of 22, backing that up, saying it's okay in Knox County, we're going to allow solar in unincorporated areas of the county. And then in October 23 was when the Fraser solar project was applied for at the state level. March 24, this body council passed resolution 2024-31 opposing development on our piece of ground because it inhibited the regional planning and all of that. And I'll read something in the application, the Fraser Solar application, that said, the applicant asserts that the project is not expected to have any significant adverse effect on regional development, including housing, commercial, and industrial development. So that, the Siting Power Board, Ohio's overlooked that. They didn't consider the residential regional development that we had planned. And in the application, they say land incorporated in Mount Vernon. That should have been a red flag. They should have said that's not per Senate Bill 52. It's not what the commissioners passed in their resolution. So that's a couple things there. And then as you go to the next page, we had the public hearings where Mayor Starr submitted a letter. I showed up in person and spoke on saying that this looks like a cornfield, but it's not a cornfield. It's city property zoned planned neighborhood development, and they chose to ignore that. And then June of 25, they approved the project, and then in August, they had another hearing that there was some there was a call for them to go through the process again. So they did it again in August. They upheld what they did in June. So now we're at the point, this has been approved at the state of Ohio. We've passed a resolution saying we don't want this, but our only opportunity now is to seek outside counsel and appeal to the Supreme Court. That's where we are. So is it worth doing that? So if you turn the page, and I'm using this development because it's about the same size as Liberty Crossing. Could be a little bit smaller, but if you take 500 homes with an average income of 95,000, and there was an economic impact study done for Liberty Crossing. Their household income was about 89,000, so we're pretty close. I'm pretty close on that. That is $712,000 worth of withholding per year from that income from those homes. And then if you add on to that, $60 a month is the minimum bill. Now, I've got a wife and 2 girls. My bill's never been $60. So that's, I think, conservative. But if you take just the minimum, that'd be $360,000 a year just for the water, wastewater. So that's over $1 million of income withholding. So, you know, when Ms. Seavolt says, I don't know where the money's coming from, this is where we need to go if we're going to fund buildings, improvements, infrastructure, and all that. So you compare that with what are we getting from the pilot payments in lieu of taxes? It's about $2,500 a year. So for the next 40 years, that never is adjusted for inflation. It's the same, it's a flat amount. So we get that for 40 years. Meanwhile, we have 100 acres in our city that is just sitting there not doing anything. So Ms. Keener said, okay, $1 million a year, that's fine. What does that look like in 40 years? So the next page is, if you take that and adjust, just put a 2% annual inflation on it, it goes up to over 2.2 million in 40 years. So that's what we're looking at over the life of this project. So, and I'll just reiterate what Ms. Keener said. It's the only project in Ohio that includes incorporated land. There are some brownfield sites that cities have used to do, you know, a smaller installation to power buildings, but this is the only thing of its kind. So what I'm saying is, it's not that we appeal and we say you should not have approved the project. That's a different subject. The project is whatever they said. It's that project included this land, and they should strip it out of the Fraser Solar project. And we're not arguing that they should not have approved it. It's just we want our land back. So, you know, they ignored the commissioners, they ignored Senate Bill 52, and did not look at this the right way.
Couple questions. What's it cost for outside counsel to take it to the high Supreme Court? And what's the chances the high Supreme Court will even hear our case if we present it?
The first question is, does the city have standing to do that? The city was not a party to the original Ohio Power Siting Board case, and so there's a question about whether or not the city can appeal that decision.
Well, we were named, we're named on the application and so there's Miller Township, Clinton Township, and the city of Mount Vernon. We're
So
all
there are
named in
questions about if we should have had representation on the Ohio Power Siting Board.
Yeah, and they
to
gave
begin
Clinton
with.
Township representation, they gave Miller Township representation, and they did not include Mount Vernon. And in their wording, they gloss over everything is at Knox County. They mention Mount Vernon a couple times and that's part of the project, but then they gloss over it by just saying Knox County.
So we do not know what the cost of outside counsel would be at this point. I would anticipate it's less than the amount to come back to council and ask for that, but that is a question that we are asking.
What's the chances, Supreme Court can either hear or not hear, what's the chances they'll hear it?
We could flip a coin.
I
think
think
it's less than that, but
well, I think it's pretty good because we're unique in that this is, of all, there's many projects in Ohio, industrial solar, and this is the only one that has ignored Senate Bill 52.
I think the fact that there is actually language in there that says unincorporated areas of the county really puts us in better footing for this. I still think that this is a question where we do need to ask outside counsel who have more experience.
Can I ask, how was it that Mount Vernon, they had a meeting and they invited those two townships, but they, intentionally didn't invite Mount Vernon to come and represent themselves in
There's
this
an ad
conversation?
hoc, there's an ad hoc board that votes on this along with the siting power board, and they had Miller Township and Clinton Township, but not Mount Vernon. That's where they ignored Mount Vernon. Now at the hearings, public hearings, anybody could go to that. But just in the representation of Mount Vernon, that was ignored.
So this is just an initial committee meeting, to let people know that we are looking at this and looking at options and getting some of those answers worked out. I did not want to start to pursue answers to those questions until council was all aware, just so that everybody's on the same page. You have all the information here. I would urge you to reach out, ask questions, give your opinion. I do think that it is noteworthy how much we would lose in income over 40 years, but more than that, I think this really blocks the city in on that southern side. There are other opportunities that we would like to look into in that direction, which is the direction we probably should be growing in. So please reach out if you have more questions or.
Yeah, that land was added probably around in the early 2000s, but it was added as a growth for the industrial park. So, Sano build out there, and Ariel has expanded the Reichert trucking, so there's still land left. The Liberty Crossing was part of that annexation, which was zoned, I think, light manufacturing, and then in order to put the housing in, they changed it to planned neighborhood development. But that land over on Sharp Road was to help, Mount Vernon grow because the industrial park was coming out that way.
This is serious money, not just for now, but for the future.
Yeah.
And how it's gonna impact the city as far as future income. That's a big number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't try, definitely will be ignored, so I think we need to try.
Well, we're not going to vote here. I really just wanted to present you guys with the information. We can continue to have these conversations, but we plan to get some of those answers as to costs of outside counsel, and, what kind of footing we have when we proceed, if we choose to proceed. So,
Thank you.
thank you to our treasurer, Mr. Suller, for coming
Okay, we're
too.
gonna adjourn the Land Use and Development Committee. We're gonna now move to Streets and Public Buildings to discuss the restrictions of parking on one side of Mallard Point.
Yes, thank you. Tanner, are you going to talk to us about this a little bit? I believe this is
Yeah,
getting a second reading tonight at this point.
correct. Thank you, Mr. Severns. Council, we were notified that this was a concern of the residents in Mallard Point. It was requested that since there is off-street parking available, they would like to, they being the homeowners association in Mallard Point, would like to see on-street parking restricted to one side of the road. Apparently, and this is per the HOA, that they have had issues in the past with, the Postal Service being able to deliver mail, so we chose the side of the street with mailboxes to be the restricted side. We decided to do a 60-day temporary trial to see if this would be something worthwhile to pursue. First, we talked to our service departments and our emergency forces and said, if there would be an emergency situation, would you be able to get your largest emergency vehicle through Mallard Point if two vehicles were parked on the street at the same time. And that came back confirmed that they could not indeed, or it would be of great difficulty to get like something like the ladder truck or the engine through that area. As far as service departments go, they have to salt the roads, so it would be difficult if we were to try to maneuver between Mallard Point with two vehicles parked on the street. Could it be done? But it would be difficult. So given the fact that off-street parking is available and that on-street parking, there's plenty of available on-street parking even with the one side restricted, it was a request, again, by the community. We pursued that 60-day period. Now, I do want to say, it is not my intention to be the strong arm of the HOA and enforce parking when downtown parking isn't even something that we, militantly enforce. So it will be one of these things where right now, just so everybody's aware, without signage or without curb painting, we can't ticket anybody, right? But we have sent letters to every property owner in Mallard Point saying that you're in a 60-day trial. You have an opportunity to come speak on matters of city concern to council or to contact Safety Service Office, the mayor's office, all members of council. You can let them know how you feel about it one way or the other. The reason that we haven't posted anything is frankly because I'm not going to post signs and then have council be like, nope, not a big deal, take the signs down. It's just a waste of all of our times. So, assuming that council does make it an official order, similarly to what we've done with Hamtramck and Burgess Street, once you make it an official traffic change, then we'll put the signs up and then we will enforce. And I think after a couple, firm calls or tickets, then the message will be received. That said, if there is an outcry of not to do it, then that's your decision, council, because my role is just to enforce your decisions. So we are rather agnostic on this. This is a request by the community. It is not exactly a through community, if you will. So you have to intend to go to Mallard Point. So there you go. That's really all we have to say. And these committee meetings are an opportunity for residents of Mallard Point to come in and talk to you about Mallard Point. And frankly, I think it should be a discussion for the people of Mallard Point about Mallard Point. And if people across the city have opinions about it, well, they're entitled to those, but they don't live there. So, like I said, you have to intend to go to Mallard Point. And that's just my opinion on that.
So since you've had the 60-day trial, have you had any calls?
I have not had personally, no. That's not true. I have had no calls or conversations opposing this. I have had very passionately supporting calls, letting me know that people are not obeying those. And just to say that Assistant Chief Burns and I did drive up through Mallard Point today. There were two vehicles that were parked on the opposite side of the street. This is not the crisis of our time. Now, just tacitly looking at the vehicles driving by or just, kind of at a glance, I would assume that these are probably younger people parked there. One had a teddy bear hanging from their rear view mirror. So it was either a younger person or
was my
Scott
car.
Zimmerman.
Or me.
Just a little levity here. Just talk to your family. If you live in Mallard Point, talk to your family. Tell them, after either council takes action, for all I know, they could suspend the rules tonight and make it the law. But I don't believe that will be the case. I did, in my letter to Mallard Point, I said there would be 3 readings on this and, that we would give everybody an opportunity to be heard out. And then you would take action, and I don't know what your action would be. I assume that if you heard nothing one way or the other, you would, likely take action in the affirmative. That was not in the letter. did not assume what you would do. But right now, the only thing that we've really utilized in that area is code enforcement. Scott, I don't know if you want to comment on it, but one or two vehicles were parked the opposite direction, so that's always illegal. And then one vehicle was I don't want to say it was an inoperable vehicle, but it had been parked there for 6 months or so, supposedly. That's what we were told.
Yes, and my officer went out. I even went back out because we had some other a individual was making phone calls.
This person is very passionate.
Yes. The vehicle wasn't inoperable. It was licensed and everything. Now, my department does not have the authority to go out and chalk tires and write tickets.
Can't chalk tires.
Well, thank you, sir. Mark them, I guess.
Nope.
Can't mark them either?
Nope.
Let's see. I learned something.
We're all learning.
Yeah. The vehicle wasn't inoperable. I didn't know if it had moved or not, but it looks like it's in fine running condition. It was parked on the post side of the street, so it wasn't by the mailboxes. So I did not see any calls for a letter or any calls. Other than I do know that Mr. Marvin, my officer, did discuss this with the individual that called, and then I think he called a few other people, and myself included, after that. But it does seem that the majority of people are parking on the side of the road that everyone wants them to. So,
You said in the initial talk that there's adequate off-street parking. Where's there off-street parking in Mallard Point?
Their driveways.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mr. Sevens, I see Assistant Chief Burns in the gallery. It might be good to hear from his opinion on
Sure.
this matter,
Yes.
if you wouldn't mind.
Wait, sir,
My name is Bill Walls. I'm on the board. I'm
Okay.
a board member of the HOA, Mallard
Okay.
Point. And the biggest problem primarily is there's 3 homes on that street, 41, 6, and 8, that have multiple cars parked on both sides of the street. Now, 41, there's, I guess there's some special need people living there, and there's 4 or 5 medical type, care type people that park both sides of the street. Our concern is getting emergency vehicles through, a house fire, someone life-threatening or situation or whatever. They wouldn't be able to get the emergency vehicles through there. And the parking on both sides of the streets, primarily on those 3 homes, is constant. It's daily. And they've disregarded the letter that you have sent out, and it's still a concern. So we're looking at safety of the people who live there for emergency vehicles, to include their property. If it caught on fire or whatever, you couldn't get fire trucks through there.
And
Thank you.
to reiterate, council, that's why the city did take action, is if that were the case, we could not get the largest safety
Mallard
vehicles.
Point, the street width of Mallard Point is not as wide as Wood Lake Trail. It's not a wide street.
A question I always ask is it enforceable?
So the temporary order is we cannot, or our police cannot ticket during the temporary order because it's not posted. But this is kind of the conundrum we find ourselves in, right? If I have Public Works put the signs up, then we can ticket everybody. But what I don't want to do is put signs up, and we don't have to paint curbs, but just to use that as an example, put signs up and paint curbs, and then council take action saying, no, we're not going to do this. And then we have to go out and take stuff down, and you see where I'm at?
Yeah, the legislation would certainly give us the teeth we need. We've sent our traffic enforcement officer several times up there. there really isn't anything we can do at this point. But once that happens, it's a different story. And the concerns are valid. That's not only the emergency vehicles that need to get through, and they will get through. They're not going to let loss of life occur just because there's a couple sedans parked in their way. They can navigate that, surely, but we'd like to avoid that. And then other, I would say at least inconveniences, such as delivery of the mail when they're blocking mailboxes. And it's my understanding from at least one resident there that that has happened on more than one occasion. So we're seeing a disruption of services, a potential disruption of emergency services. It is narrow. The gentleman that spoke before me is correct. We need to be able to get through there. And of course, there is ample parking on that other side. As the safety service director mentioned, there's the driveway parking. And for the group home, as I understand it, that's in that area, our officer made contact with them and helped them to understand that we realize there are special needs. And so parking temporarily, handling that situation, dropping off someone, picking someone up is a different story. We certainly understand that. It's that long term, that overnight, several days of parking there that becomes a problem.
So a couple questions. I don't know if we have this answer here, but one was the street built to code so that it is wide enough to handle all the things that it has to be able to handle?
It's built to code to handle that. It's not built to sustain two sides of parking and then handle those vehicles that come
Okay,
through.
good. Next question, does the HOA involve all the other streets out there? Is it the whole area? It's not just Mallard Point?
Now that I can't
voted.
speak. I believe it's the Mallard Point HOA. Right.
Like Wood Lake Trail,
Mhm.
it's an HOA association too, but the street is wider than Mallard Point.
But
Okay.
it's a separate HOA, is that correct?
Yeah.
Several HOAs.
Yeah, yeah.
In that subdivision.
So the HOA for Mallard Point, or that includes, voted to restrict the parking? Is that what
No,
I'm
they
hearing?
did not. They asked the city to
Yeah,
restrict.
they
They have
requested.
no legal authority to restrict parking on a city street.
Okay,
It's a city street, we have no authority.
okay. Yeah, I did drive out there one day after, either over the lunch hour or after work, specifically after this first came up, and it is not easy to get through there. There were cars on both sides. Now, I will say that, just, let's say there's a family that's got 3 college kids living there, and so in the summertime, there are 3 vehicles now home from college, and they're gonna have 5 vehicles. They're not gonna be able to get all 5 vehicles in their driveway. And if there's a couple, 3 homes along there, I'm just giving a possible scenario. If you have more than 2 cars, that you can
Remember,
get 2 cars in the garage or whatever.
There's still off-street parking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get it. I
Or,
agree
excuse
that
me.
we need to try to look at this, but I am gonna let it go to the 3 readings tonight.
On-street parking, let me rephrase. There's off-street parking, which is your driveway, and there's on-street parking, which is just not the side of the street that includes the mailboxes.
Yeah.
We reviewed this pretty thoroughly, just to make sure that this is not gonna be a major inconvenience, and I really don't think it is. And if you've got 20 vehicles that are gonna have to loop around, Mallard Point, then I would tell the Ruckman family, maybe consolidate. I don't know
Yeah,
at that point.
I get it. Okay, all right.
Or start parking in the unimproved surface.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna
we
get
can't
this
do
3
that.
readings.
Oh, no.
We're good. Yes, we're gonna go 3 readings
3
on this.
readings.
If there are any other residents
You
that
might
wanna
wanna
speak
drive
on
out
this,
there
they
and-
need to come. Okay, thank you.
And look at it. Thank you. We're going to adjourn the Streets and Public Buildings Committee. We're now in recess until 7:30 PM when we begin the legislative portion of the meeting. I want to call your attention to what Zach put in front of you. We do have 2 resolutions that were added today. It's up to City Council if they want to consider those. I'll ask for approval of the agenda, and that would include the 2 new resolutions. If you have a problem with that being added just today, that's up to you. So we are in adjournment until 7:30.
Okay, so,
I wouldn't
You were
listen.
sleeping.
Can we have
the legislative portion of the October 13th, 2025 City Council meeting to order? Mr. Sherman, please call the roll.
Mrs. Hager,
Here.
Mrs. Siebold,
Here.
Mr. Severns,
Here.
Mr. Mahan,
Here.
Mrs. Woods,
Here.
Mr. Ruckman,
Here.
Miss Keener.
Here.
We are in session. The invocation this evening will be given by Chaplain Dave Matos from Gentiva Hospice. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge. And thank you for being here.
Been a privilege to serve our community for over 20 years as a chaplain, and happy to be here. Heavenly Father, we're grateful to be part of a wonderful city. Thank you for our mayor and representatives here that continue to provide the best services for our city. We ask you to bless them with wisdom, guide them as they strategize to help our community with good services. We ask you to continue to bless all our different departments, our colleges, our healthcare system, our schools, our social services, our healthcare, and we just ask you to help us to take care of those that are in need, the needy, those that are dealing with drug addiction, and our foster care system, Lord. We thank you for blessing our city, Lord. As I have traveled to many cities, I'm so pleased to live here for many years, and so we just ask for your blessing on this meeting. Continue to guide us and lead us. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
you, Chaplain. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, in your packet are the minutes from both the September 22nd and the 29th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I'd ask for a motion for approval.
So move.
Second.
And moved and second they be approved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. I see no petitions or communications. And you do have committee reports in your packet for your review. And we do have a liquor control licenses. Baxter's Downtown is leaving, and they've turned that over to the Old School LLC.
You pretty much gave my report.
Okay.
If you have any comments or questions, you can contact, who do they contact down? Do they contact Zach? Mr. Sherman?
If they have any questions, they can contact our clerk. He can direct you to the Ohio Liquor Bureau. I see no proclamations or people wanting to speak on matters of city concern. So then we'll go into the legislative portion of the meeting. And council, you do have some additions that were added this evening. Are you okay with that? Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? If not, I'll assume it's approved by consensus. And we'll move to resolutions then for third reading. We have resolution number 2025-94. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply to the Ohio Public Works Commission Capital Improvement Program for funding assistance for the West End Sanitary Renovation Project Phase 1 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Ruckman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt Resolution 2025-94.
Second.
Then moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mr. Ruckman?
This is something we've previously talked about, council, as far as the West End Sanitary Project Phase 1. We had a committee meeting on it previously as well, so I think it's a good direction to move in. It's always nice to improve and keep our sanitary system running correctly, so.
Okay. Anything else? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seavolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolutions for second reading. And the first one is resolution number 2025-95. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a 3-year contract with Knox County for information technology services and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes, sir, I'm going to give this its second reading. Council, if you have questions, or if you feel like we want a committee meeting on this, please direct those to me in time for the next meeting.
This resolution receives its second reading. Now I move to resolution number 2025-97. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution confirming the appointment of Leanne Hager to the Shade Tree and Beautification Commission for a 3-year term and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Woods?
Thank you, sir. I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take Resolution 2025-97 to its third and final reading.
Second?
Then moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension?
We're only
Leanne, did you know about this?
I did, but
Okay.
I'm still feeling pretty shady.
We're,
That's one.
Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seavolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The roll is suspended. Mrs. Woods?
Move to adopt Resolution 2025-97.
Second?
Then moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Woods?
Always like to do this on second reading, not give yourself time to change your mind. Yeah, any comments?
I've been doing it since I got here and I love it. So I'm happy to be there.
It was
Thank
my
you.
favorite one,
Yeah,
so.
I love it. Yep.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seavolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolution number 2025-98. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director to extend the contract of combination between the Mount Vernon City Health District and the Knox Public Health and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seavolt?
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-98 to its third and final reading.
Second?
Then moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seavolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Seavolt?
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-98.
Second?
Then moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mr. Seavolt?
Thank you. Tanner, would you like to talk about this?
Nope.
Well, good. Then we won't pass it.
That's what you think. Do you have any questions, council?
Our commissioner was here at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Mr. Sherman?
Explained it pretty well.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seavolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolutions for first reading. The first one is resolution number 2025-101. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to dispose of vehicles in the police department not needed for public use by the city of Mount Vernon and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seavolt?
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-101 to its third and final reading.
Second?
Then moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Seavolt,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Rule is suspended. Mrs. Seavolt?
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-101.
Second?
Then move to second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mr. Seabolt?
Wow, we've got some nice vehicles we want to sell. We got a Suburban, we've got a red Jeep Cherokee. Boy, we've got some good jobs here for
Come
people
on
that just go
down.
into
Deals,
work.
deals, deals.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, we got to get on here and get them before they're all gone. Light blue Chevy. So we want to get on there right away, don't we, Tanner? We don't
sure
want
do.
these vehicles. We got 6 of them that we got to sell.
Don't want.
So,
Whoever offered you a job.
Put her on govdeals.com.
so through the police department, we need to get rid of these vehicles and make some money. So
Actually,
anybody
just
got
want them
any
out of the
questions
lot.
about our
Yeah,
great
Pound
cars?
lot is what we really want.
You're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolution number 2025-102. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the city of Mount Vernon to make supplemental appropriations.
Mrs. Seabolt?
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings to take resolution number 2025-102, a resolution, to its third and final reading.
Second?
Then moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Council, I'll draw your attention to the yellow portion of this resolution that was added this evening for your attention. Mrs. Seabolt?
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-102.
Second?
Then moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Seabolt?
Do we need to amend this?
Does that need to be as
No, it
amended?
was amended by the adoption of the rules through the, at the beginning of the legislative portion.
Welcome.
Good evening, Council. So the first item on the list is the auditor bank charges. So a bit of good news, the City of Mount Vernon has seen a record year for returns on investments, so that's great. We know that a good return on investment usually is accompanied with a bit of cost of doing business, so that's why we're looking at increasing that expense line to accommodate for the remaining of the year. And then is it okay to move on to number 2 for you? Okay. And then the PERS concept for this one is we took the budget that was conservative from 24, moved it to 25. We've kind of built on top of that. So as we know, this is our learning year, and we're going to use that baseline to see where we can grow. So for the PERS, that really takes a look at the competitive wages, which is a great thing now, accompanied with the unexpected overtime or unanticipated overtime, I suppose. We never really know how much we're going to have. So if you combine those two things, that's automatically going to increase the amount that we need to designate and pay to OPERS. So we just need to increase the remaining portion for the year and get that taken care of, and we'll have a much better idea of what to project for next year.
Can I ask a question
Yes,
on that
ma'am.
one? But the amount budgeted for the overtime was there.
In some ways, but depending on if the wage was increased, it could have been, I guess, not anticipated when they originally did that, or if maybe a new job was brought in and the pay scale was changed in the middle of the year. Was that early in the year?
Yeah. All of those things were taken into account. So
But just the retirement piece
yeah,
was not.
Yeah. A bigger issue that we have had is that there were PERS accounts kind of splashed all over the different funds. And we're trying to consolidate, if you look at your 101-3600 line, and that's what this one is, that PERS service. It's really a service, or it's really a PERS fund or line for most. Really, that's not a fair title for it because it's the PERS line for a lot of the safety service and non-union offices, would you say? As well as court. And then there's also a court fund. So we are, ultimately, council, what we're trying to do is consolidate that particular PERS fund so we don't have these sporadic underfunded and overfunded PERS fee. And Councilwoman Woods, I'll talk to you specifically because we talked about this at our budget meeting last year. is we would have one particular line that was drastically overfunded. We would have one PERS line that was drastically underfunded. And what we're trying to do is consolidate, and this one moving into 2026, actually I kind of used this one to reflect our 2026 budget. Right now, we're looking at going from about, what was it, 250, somewhere there, up to about 525. And that may seem like this massive increase, but you're seeing it reduce across other budgets in the city and consolidated into one fund. So you're seeing simplification, if you will.
Yeah.
And you'll see that across the budget when we roll that out in the next, the beginning of November.
Next.
All right, so for the 401 urban improvement, oftentimes sometimes engineering will have a project where maybe they need to pay costs up front and then they're reimbursed later. So in those cases, every now and then we get into a situation where we might need to increase that appropriation to make up the difference for what they're being refunded. And in that case, that's what the $26,000 number is. We need to increase that appropriation by that amount to get them that full return amount that they received back for a project.
So on the Fairgrounds Road project, you remember we used city water and wastewater funds. We had county water and wastewater funds. This was an OPWC project, I believe. Look over at Quentin, our assistant city engineer. A lot of that money that we supported those costs up front. Now we're seeing reimbursements coming back from that. It's coming back specifically to a line that, as other projects have come out of that line, the appropriation, the revenue that we are receiving, the appropriation is not large enough for us to extend the expenditure out of that. So what this will do is, as we receive that revenue in, we extend the or increase the appropriation so we can pay that out for other projects.
Do you want to talk about number 5?
Yes, number 5. So this $350,000, so we've actually signed the COTC lease. We've been going back and forth with lawyers, and I look at Rob because there are a lot of lawyer jokes going through my head at this moment, but we've been working with COTC and their attorneys, and we've finally been working, or we've worked through all of the leases. And now, I want you to know that we have not just stopped, everything else. We've been also working with our, and some of you have probably had that conversation. I know maybe Mel and Amber, you've walked through the council chamber, the new council chamber, and talked about where the dais will go and whatnot. But as all of those things have been going on, we can move into the permitting side of things and actually get the lease payment, the first lease payment paid now that that's signed. We will have to start construction work, very minor construction work. I know that specifically, I'm looking at the auditor's office here. They've been working with the income tax office, and just so everybody knows, this minor update, between the income tax office, the water utility billing office, and our parks, really the cemetery office and parks and public buildings and everything. This is all coming under one roof. And the name of the building will be the Mount Vernon Municipal Center. And we're looking at really kind of making that a one-stop shop. That way when you come in to work or do any sort of business with the city of Mount Vernon downtown, you're going to be able to talk to any person that you want to. Right now, I even think about the Veterans Walk of Honor, right? If you wanted to buy a brick, right, you had to go to the auditor's office, or maybe you had to go to safety service office, or, oh, now actually you need to go out to the cemetery out on Worcester Road. No, you should be able to go to one single location and do that. And that's what you're going to be able to do at our 236 South Main Street location. But in order to get all of that done, that's what this number 5, this facilities to that 407 fund, what we created earlier this year. And that will be funded, and I've already had this question, where's that coming from? That comes from that STAR account that we have been diligently putting money away for the last however many years, specifically for facilities improvements. So if we don't take it from there, then we have to find another way to either bond it and pay for it down the road. I feel like in a small, out-of-pocket cost, like the municipal center, this is something that we can pay for, if you will, out of pocket.
When's the moving truck gonna be up front?
Well, if you ask the mayor, next week. But, so we just have to confirm that with permitting, with state permitting and everything, we can move more administrative offices at the same time that, we can do some minor changes to the other side of a building. We'd like to be in simultaneously, that way we can work out, some more technical kinks like the, if phones won't work. I'm not naive enough to believe that we'll leave on a Friday and that the place will be running smoothly on a Monday. But we want to be able to be in and work out different kinks of like, should this shelf go here or should this go over here? Just some basic stuff. That way we're serving our purposes and the purposes of the residents as much as possible. But we would like to start moving stuff in November, and we're just running a tad behind because of a lot of negotiation. Yeah, I'm looking at you.
You're just lucky I'm on your side.
Yeah. So, but November would start the move, and a lot of the leasehold improvements will begin likely in November into early December. So,
Next.
Okay, so for 6 and 7, they are both similar in terms that Fire applied for a grant and was approved and granted that money, and they would like to spend that some on additional equipment that they had not appropriated for originally. So if we can increase those expense lines, they would be very happy and thankful for that. And that's all for that resolution.
Any questions, council? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolution number 2025-103. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the city of Mount Vernon to transfer certain funds.
Mr. Sebo.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-103 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Moved and second for the adoption, for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Sebo.
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-103.
Second.
And moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Sebo.
Well, here we go again.
Yes, so these are basically leftover monies that weren't used for what they were appropriated for, and we would like, the first 2 specifically, 1 and 2, we would like to use those funds that weren't used and apply them to a different expense line so that we can purchase other items.
specifically, council, it's time to paint some of the slides again. So we'd like to utilize some of the leftover funds to move those over and paint some of the slides at the Hiawatha Water Park.
So for the remainder of the items, Tanner, can you speak on number 3 and 4?
Don't fall asleep, council. This is riveting stuff. All right. So there are premium overages for our insurance. One thing that I will say in our 2026 budget, I have added an additional line. So our premium year is a September to October premium year, which doesn't do us any favors. So I have built in I can't remember what I titled the line, but it's basically like a $3,000 to $5,000 buffer for appropriation. I would like to work with our insurer, Michael Percy, to probably try to work in some way of extending 1 year to where we actually get onto our fiscal year. That way we don't have these transfers or anything like that. But like this year, we've added some vehicles and different things, And hopefully, my goal is to, when we offload different properties like the Togger Block, that some of this property cost will come down and it'll all even out. But right now, we have less appropriations than what our premium will be for the year. So this will just transfer some free dollars into our liability insurance lines. So we will be able to pay the premiums that were anticipated this year. But I would like to have the buffer. That way we won't have to worry about transfer. And if we get to the end of the year, we will have, you're making faces. Is there? Do you have a, okay, all right. That way, if there's any sort of overages, yeah, don't ever play poker, Amber. If there is any sort of buffer at the end of the year, then we can use that for other things. But yeah, so that's all that is. That's what 3 and 4 is.
So for 5, they would like to use some expense money that was appropriated from the income tax refunds and appropriate it for or transfer it to the network systems for updating.
Yep, networking systems. So a large sum of this from their income tax refund account will go into networking systems, and this remainder of this, or this $15,000, will go into paying for another year of their income tax financing software for Civica, which is what they use for their financing software.
And then, similar to a few items ago, as we work through the budget, we can identify what expense lines that maybe were under appropriated. One of those being the PB&L employees line. So monies from the training and travel expense line would be transferred to the PB&L employees line to help us get through the remainder of the year. And we knew that we would have quite a few of those potentially when doing the original budget. And it's not uncommon for this time of the year to start having to look at those items. So if you remember those conversations earlier on, we're getting to that point heavily where we're going to be looking at how do we take what we didn't use and apply it to things that we need to finish the year out with. Then from the tools line, again, same thing with the $5,000. So we're going to pull $5,000 from the tool line and put it to the PB&L employees line to help us get through the year. Same thing with number 8.
Any questions, council? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolution number 2025-104. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the City of Mount Vernon to pay bills pursuant to Section 5705.41D, then and now certification.
Mrs. Siebel.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-104 to its 3rd and final reading.
Second.
And move to second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Roll is suspended. Mrs. Siebel.
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-104.
Second.
And move to second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Siebel.
Our last one.
Okay, so for number 1,
Yep,
that, I'm sorry, what?
There will be 2 of them, by the way. Yep.
2 more coming.
So like Tanner mentioned earlier, the courts is updating their software, and the number 1 is a then and now. So that's services that have transferred over, and we just need to get that one taken care of, and it falls under a then and now category. Number 2 is for so implementing the government job so that HR can advertise employment opportunities through the government
So
jobs.com.
if you don't mind, let me
Sure.
jump in on. So we're looking at the Civic Plus. This is actually, council, so similarly to the last conversation we had about the legal purchase orders that we had, where purchase orders existed earlier in the year and we just had to add more. A Civic Plus purchase order existed earlier in the year. We added more, and I'll look to Zach. We are adding the agendas and minutes software specifically for city council and other boards and commissions throughout the city. That's what that is specifically for. So there was a pre-existing purchase order. We just added another product. That's what that is. To governmentjobs.com, that's basically another software that will allow us to do, trying to think of there's a couple more pieces of, let's see. This is annual evaluations and the other thing is.
Subscription,
Yeah.
annual fee, setup.
Yeah, so, there's a couple more things, and I could get that information to you, but annual evaluations and training, I think, is a big one, so.
Anything else?
Yeah, that's 104.
Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. We have two resolutions that were added this evening. First one is resolution number 2025-105. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the City of Mount Vernon to pay bills pursuant to Section 5705.41D, then and now certifications.
Mrs. Siebel.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-105 to its third and final reading.
Second.
We move to second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Siebel.
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2025-105.
Second.
We move to second for the suspension, for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Siebel.
Thank you. Here we go.
Okay, so for the Aerial Developmental, or Development Foundation, we have $3,000 that needs to be appropriated for the final installment. So this would have been an agreed upon installment, and this finishes it out. It's almost got enough, but not quite. So that's the ask for number 1. And then for number 2, we are, I believe, Tanner, this is going to be the one for, is this the one for municipal? I think I got the Civic Plus and the municipal across there. So this would actually be the one for their software, their annual fee, their analysis, developmental fee, or development fee, and then software installation.
So council, working with the Area Development Foundation, we agreed to pay $50,000 on the city, for the city's portion of the comprehensive plan. After working with Sam and his team, it came back to a little bit more than $50,000. This is the carryover of that. Number 2, that should say Equivant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know, mine doesn't say that, but does it? Okay. It does. Okay, I have an older copy, so as long as that is the updates to the court, which we budgeted for in the capital improvements and everything. I assume that that's just a little bit of their upgrades, so. That was a state mandate for them to upgrade their case management system. So.
They have to begin to do electronic filing by Supreme Court rule, and this whole upgrade of their system is geared towards that.
Yep, and that happens this month, I believe.
It's going to be February.
Any questions, council?
I'll stop covering.
Mr. Sherman.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. We now move to the final resolution, one that was added this evening. That's resolution number 2025-106. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a qualifications-based construction manager-at-risk contract with Gokosing Industrial, Inc. for the Mount Vernon Wastewater Treatment Plant Phosphorus and Solids Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Ruckman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to give Resolution 2025-106 its first reading and ask for a 30-minute committee meeting at our next legislative session.
This resolution receives its first reading. Now I move to ordinances. The first ordinance is ordinance number 2025-28. Mr. Sherman.
An ordinance adopting a cybersecurity policy for the city of Mount Vernon, Ohio, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 9.64 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Mahan.
Council, you received in your email, and you have in front of you an amendment to this this ordinance in the form of an amended cybersecurity policy. So in order to kick this off, I'm going to move that we amend 2025-28 with the packet that you have.
I'll second it.
And moved and seconded to amend this ordinance. In discussion on the amendment.
I appreciate the work of the Safety Service Director. Several councilmen and several committee members had questions and suggestions. Tanner, do you mind taking us through the differences?
I would just note for purposes of the record that this is Exhibit A. It's replacing in its entirety Exhibit A.
Thank you for that correction, sir.
The ordinance itself need not be changed. The exhibit, however, is changed.
So are we amending the ordinance or not?
We're amending
the exhibit to the ordinance.
Exhibit A to the amendment,
Okay.
to the ordinance.
So there's a move and second to add this exhibit as an amendment. Any discussion on the amendment?
Tanner, could you take us through the amended policy, please?
Yep. So again, I'll walk you through, council, and compare here. There's still a purpose that's listed out. It's given a little bit more detail. There's still a scope that, again, given a little bit more detail. Section 3 gives I would think, a lot more detail, and it bases it on National Institute of Standards of Technology and the Center for Internet Security and Critical Control. That framework and those standards. It goes through risk management, critical function, access control, data protection, system maintenance and patch management, monitoring and detection, vendor and third-party oversight, incident and response and continuity, and it gives a lot more detail. I think the policy was lacking. This one with a lot more detail, utilizing the same terminology consistently throughout. That gives us a lot more. So if all of us are out of the picture, somebody else walks into a fresh policy, they can look at this and really are given somewhere to some guidance. Okay. Additionally, something that what this policy does and what the prior policy did not do was really identify, utilizing ORC language, what an incident is and what an incident is not. So is an incident a close call? Is an incident, I got a suspicious email and I'm uncomfortable? This policy separates those things. Section 4 of this policy talks about annual training. It talks about role-based training. It talks about approved training sources. And then it details where the verification of that training will be and who will be keeping up with the verification of that training. It also identifies, and I look at our utilities director, and you're welcome. He is not in charge of the entirety of our cybersecurity program anymore. The prior policy had a very significant error in it, where it put the utilities director as the director, or basically our chief information security officer. The safety service director will serve as the chief information security officer. Now, council, you do not want me serving as your chief information security officer. So this policy allows me to designate a qualified CISO to fulfill this role. So as our contract is with the Knox County Information Technology team, I will coordinate that and designate their director as our CISO. Also, I know that residents and council was concerned about the response time that we would have once you identify a risk or an incident in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code. That is put in here as well. So incident reporting, that's in here. The Ohio Department of Public Safety, Office of Homeland Security, within 7 days of discovery. The Auditor of State, within 30 days of discovery. And all of that, the CISO shall maintain the incident documentation and coordinate with affected departments. Confidentiality of records protection. So cybersecurity records, all of those details per the ORC, that is listed in here as well. Governance and oversight and accountability, and reporting to council. So something that you would want to know. Program updates, number and type of incidents without sensitive detail, status of training and completion, recommendations for policy or budgetary adjustments. Those things will be included. They will likely be included not as a separate report, but as a piece in the annual report that the mayor provides to council. And then council, of course, just so you know that your role in this, you may hold public briefings to discuss cybersecurity, our cybersecurity posture and risk mitigation progress. Audits and compliance review. We shall, so this is a shall, not a may, a shall, undergo a cybersecurity compliance review at least once every 2 years, conducted internally or by an independent auditor. Findings and recommendations shall be presented to the mayor and city council, and that's of those audits. Policy reviews and updates. Policy shall be reviewed annually by the CISO and needed, and updates as needed to reflect evolving threats, legal requirements, and best practices. Do know that we have a municipal tech board that meets monthly. This is honestly the biggest active threat that we deal with. It's ever evolving. So it needs to be taken seriously. Our staff needs trained on it repeatedly. It needs invested in. The concern that the individual brought before you about us taking seriously the information that we hold from the public, that is something that we do need to take seriously. So having this as a good floor, always remember that this is, you never want to tie your hands in an emergency, but you do have to, especially legislatively. And there's always a administrative code that we can operate. I'd compare it to basically our deer hunting, or our deer management. Right, Cheryl? Yeah, there you go. Our deer management policy, where the legislation might be a page and a half, but the administrative code on how we operate things is a lot more voluminous than that. So what we have here gives us a good floor, but there's always more that we can do. And as far as training is concerned, of course, we're not going to list, you know, all the details of that, because as it evolves, we will want to be able to evolve with it. But this is compliant with the ORC. This is a good starting point that I think is you know, pretty thorough and gives us a good footing. And as we grow and as the threat evolves, we will evolve with it and learn more. And yeah.
And council, on the floor is an amendment, which is to add this verbiage that we have in front of you to the original ordinance. Is there any further discussion on the amendment?
I would just note that we're swapping out the original Exhibit A for this piece, for this new Exhibit A.
Okay.
So we have to vote on that.
We're going to go to the amendment.
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
The ordinance is now amended to include that. Mr. Mahan?
Thank you, sir. Now I move to adopt as amended ordinance number 2025-28.
As amended?
Yeah, he did.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that this ordinance be adopted as amended. Any further discussion? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance is ordinance number 2025-29. Mr. Sherman?
An ordinance to provide for the salary of certain elected officials of the city of Mount Vernon, specifically the council president and members of council, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Woods?
Thank you. I move to adopt ordinance 2025-29.
Second.
And moving to second for the adoption of this ordinance. Any discussion? Mrs. Woods?
For those of you that will be continuing, this isn't going to make you rich, but no, we appreciate you.
Any other discussion? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
No.
And you two will be missed. The ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance is for second reading. It's ordinance number 2025-30. Mr. Sherman?
An ordinance authorizing the restriction of parking on one side on Mallard Point.
Mr. Severns?
Yes, we're going to give this its second reading, and I do want to just reiterate if there are any comments from any of the Mallard Point residents, to please email us and speak up in favor or against or whatever you want to say about this. But this will go to a third reading at the next meeting, and we will just make a decision on whether this becomes permanent. Thank you.
This ordinance received its second reading and now move to ordinance number 2025-31. Mr. Sherman?
An ordinance to provide for the salary of certain elected officials of the city of Mount Vernon, specifically the city treasurer, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Woods?
Thank you. I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take ordinance 2025-31 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Then moving to second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Woods?
Thank you. Move to adopt ordinance 2025-31.
Second.
Then moving to second for the adoption of this ordinance. Any discussion? Mrs. Woods?
I know the meeting was held and this was the recommendation, so are there any questions on it? Eddie? Good.
Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. Next ordinance is, the final ordinance is ordinance number 2025-32. Mr. Sherman?
An ordinance amending the terms of employment of bargaining unit employees of the City of Mount Vernon Fire Department who are members of the certified unit known as the Mount Vernon Firefighters and Paramedics IAFF Local 3712 and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Woods?
Thank you. I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take ordinance 2025-32 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Then move to second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Woods?
Move to adopt ordinance 2025-32.
Second.
Then move to second for the adoption of this ordinance. Any discussion? Mrs. Woods?
Salyers.
This council, this is for the creation of a community risk reduction inspector and educator, AKA Assistant Fire Marshal. So this is just the final step in allowing us to amend the IAFF contract and agree to add another unit within that contract.
Civil Service Commission has previously voted on this to create the job description and slot it within the union.
Any other discussion? Mr. Sherman?
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. That concludes the legislative portion of the meeting. We now move to remarks of administration. Safety Service Director Salyers.
Thank you, Mr. President and Council. I want to provide a summary of the city's response to the federal operation that took place on October 9th at Pancho's Tacos. This has been a complex and confusing situation for our community, and I want to outline the steps the city has taken to address it and communicate with our residents. First and foremost, the City of Mount Vernon, its police department, and the Office of the Law Director were not informed of this operation beforehand. The city and its agencies learned of the operation informally at 12:30 p.m. on Thursday, October 9th. This created a significant information vacuum, leading to confusion and concern within our community, especially on social media. In response, we immediately activated a crisis communication protocol. Our primary goal was to assume our responsibility as a source of information for the public, even with the limited information that we had on hand. The first press release was posted on social media and the city's website on the evening of October 9th. The release was intended to, 1, confirm that the operation took place, 2, state that the city did not know about the operation before it happened, and 3, educate residents on where to seek official updates as more information became available. We utilized a dedicated email address, questions@mtvernonoh.gov, for all media inquiries, and began creating a media distribution list for future relevant updates. City leaders contacted Congressman Troy Balderson, Senator Bernie Moreno, Senator John Husted, the Ohio Department of Public Safety, and the Detroit Office of Homeland Security Investigations. On October 10th, we confirmed that this was a Homeland Security investigation operation, and we learned that this is an ongoing criminal investigation. We released a second press release on October 10th to provide these details to the public. And as news outlets continued reporting the story, our team issued several corrections and worked with our media partners to ensure accurate reporting throughout the process. Our team kept an eye on social media to keep tabs on information being shared online, and noticed that 2 protests were scheduled and peacefully carried out on October 11th in downtown Mount Vernon. The Mount Vernon Police Department remained on the scene to ensure the public safety. We want to be clear to everybody that we are not challenging HSI's jurisdiction. Our primary concern is with the lack of interagency communication and coordination. When an operation of this nature occurs in our city without our knowledge, it puts our residents and our own law enforcement at a disadvantage. This is a matter of cooperation between all levels of government. And on that front, we have spoken with the Knox County Sheriff's Office, and we will be working together to develop a collaborative path forward when operations require interagency coordination, be it within our county or from the state or federal government. So, to our community, I want to reiterate the city's commitment to you. On behalf of your mayor, and as your director of public safety, we are steadfast in our commitment to supporting our residents, upholding the rule of law, and above all else, defending the Constitution of the United States and the principle of due process for all individuals, so help me God. Thank you.
Does the auditor's office have anything to add? Okay, Mr. Braun.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Severance.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Ruckman.
Nothing this evening, Mr. President.
Mrs. Hager.
Nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Mahan.
I'd just like to point out, which is probably obvious, all the work that's gone in by all the city departments. I'm sure that that was not something that had been planned. And in the midst of that, there was a historical review commission meeting going on that same day. You can see the work that's gone into the cybersecurity policy. It's just a lot of good work being done by our folks in the city, and I just want to express my appreciation for that. Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Keener.
I would just like to thank our Safety Service Director for your direct communication and keeping us as transparent as possible. So I really appreciate your leadership in this process. That's all. Thank you, Mr.
Mrs. Siebel.
Thank you. I just want to express my sincere sorrow for Dan and Brittany. Recommend that they've had some loss. Dan lost his mother a couple weeks ago, and today Brittany lost her mother. And that's a double whammy to lose both mothers so fast that my heart just aches for them. And I wish there was something that we could do to help the sorrow, but we all know when you lose your mothers, that's hard. So I feel really bad for them. So everybody keep them in your prayers. They'll need it. And this was a wonderful day for the peace that Trump was able to bring about. And we all need to celebrate that. And in the world that 20 hostages got released, that was wonderful. So we did have something in the world that was wonderful today that we can all feel good about, and we can be joyous in that respect. But thank you.
You said it very well, so nothing more to say. Thank you.
That concludes the legislative portion of the meeting. Thank you for the meeting for being here this evening. That being said, I call for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.